Hi, my name is Rose Wong. I am the executive advisor at Aim High Accelerator Fund. Today, I am the host of a new YouTube series called Charting the Course: Interviews with Women Mentors. At Aim High, we aim to build a robust pipeline and community for women entrepreneurs. We invest funds to accelerate their ventures, and we elevate those who are beacons of industry. Today, I welcome Dimitra Georganopoulou.
I have what I think is a full circle in my career. I started as a technically trained person. I have a PhD in bioelectrochemistry. Throughout my PhD, I was very fortunate to have an advisor that he had quite a few companies, or he was involved with translational, life sciences technologies. And he encouraged that, and I really liked it. So I went then after my postdoc here in the United States and a research fellowship, I became an entrepreneur. So I was an entrepreneur for 10 years. I was number 2 of a company that started out of a university, Northwestern University. And we went from just an idea in a professor's head to being commercial ready and launch ready. So I learned really the hard way how and what it takes to get ready to get an idea from the university, from the bench to the market. And then because I was able to do that and translate it for one technology, I was asked to become a member of the tech transfer office at Northwestern. I ended up being the director of commercialization there. So I was able to help multiple technologies get out of academia and become either products through startups or licensing with partners, collaborations with investors. So it was like the normal continuum after one technology, doing for many technologies. Then I was very fortunate. I was hired away to be part of an innovation and scouting department of a big strategic partner. And my role there, which was an amazing, although short-lived, was to find out what it takes from a due diligence and an M&A requirement, how many functional departments get involved for a big partner to acquire a smaller partner. So the lessons that I learned there is one of these things that I wish I knew right at the beginning of my career. And then full circle, I was part of a management consulting firm that supported a lot of the commercial launches, strategic partnerships, investments, tech transfer, tech due diligence, and mergers and acquisition strategy. That we decided to actually start our own fund. So now I'm buying to being an investor, right? So then I have gone through the full circle of innovation, being an entrepreneur myself, to being a BD person, to being an acquirer, to now being an investor. So I think I know what it takes exactly from all aspects of innovation to make something successful. Tenacity, resilience, not giving up. Maybe when you hear no, you interpret it as not now, not like never. But then just sticking to it, right? And then just never giving up, and just being passionate about what you do, but most importantly, being authentic. Be yourself and pursue what you want for the right reasons. I've seen it with women that try to act like men and in order to be successful, which of course most times doesn't work. I have seen it for women that truly want to be academicians, try to be entrepreneurial, and that doesn't work out. Or vice versa, right? Women that really want to be translational and they're like maybe miserable in academia. So being authentic is to be self-aware and pursue your true self. Even when I was at Northwestern as a tech transfer office, we started programs. I started a program called InvoHer, something to support our female entrepreneurs that are academicians. So the biggest issues, there are so many underlying issues about why this is happening, right? There are things like tokenism exists, and that means that female faculty are asked to be on so many other committees because they need to be female represented. And they can't say no. You know, their department chair asks them to do this, and they do that. And they definitely have no time to do extracurricular activities such as entrepreneurship, right? Or talk to the tech transfer office. And it could be also things like they are afraid that they're not good enough. The imposter syndrome even happens for some high-level women in academia. Or they are waiting to be invited, somebody to make it safe for them or encourage them. So the programs that I have always developed try to address all these three things at the same time. So most importantly is educate the women about the opportunities, and even educate them, have programs to teach them the language of commercialization. Because there's a ton of studies that say that once you teach them the language, they can become successful. So you just have to have them feel invited, have them feel safe, and have them feel like this is part of their success, actually. Because now entrepreneurship and innovation becomes almost supportive of tenure. So that's why now even the chairs, the department chairs, and the school deans understand the importance for that. Because the other studies show that successful faculty typically are also successful innovators. Women are also perfectionists, right? They need to know that they can do something really well before they apply themselves to that. And the studies that I have studied, that have researched, say that they don't need to necessarily know everything about commercialization, but even like anything from a crash course, of like 1 day crash course, to maybe a few weeks recurring meetings, or even having monthly visits, and you go to one event a month that actually is involved in like a startup, successful startup, or an investor talking. It doesn't have to be, there's no cookie cutter solution to this. The problem is, the flip side is when you don't know anything about it. Like when you don't know anything about it, you are so scared about it, and therefore you don't lean in towards it. So anything that you can do, and I know a lot of the tech transfer offices now do offer a lot of these programs, and the main thing would be look for them and go to them, right? Don't have, oh, I'm too busy, I have a grant to write, I have a paper to write. You have to make time for this kind of events, and that will only help you write better grants and better papers. So it's a circular thing. People think that it distracts you from your academia and your academic pursuit, but actually it can make you a better academician. The MIT Catalyst program encourages fellows every year to pursue, at first figure out and then pursue solutions for healthcare that have access problems. So we do a lot of issues for healthcare for underrepresented minorities, or so low-income countries, or all these issues that people don't even think about, because if a place like MIT cannot think about it, who will? So they're leaders in that process. So I'm involved in that program, and that's like 1 day a week I'm dedicating for that. But I'm also involved in a lot of other mentoring programs with a lot of tech transfer offices, especially out of Chicago, where I'm from. So University of Chicago has invited me to be a mentor for their startups, Northwestern, and other programs, IIT. So the main thing is, once you've gone through the full circle that I described before, people realize that you can actually share some of your wisdoms of tidbit of like, you should do this, so don't do that. And I'm very blessed to be honored to be invited to be part of that, to give back. The main thing is to do your homework. I ask people I used to teach a program also. I developed a program like the NIH and NSF I-Core program, for Northwestern, which is primarily customer discovery. So it's get out of your lab, go out there and do stakeholder interviews, stakeholder analysis, and do a full circle analysis of who are your stakeholders when you're developing a therapy. It could be the insurers, it could be the people that decide the price, it could be like the clinical trials. It's not only patients and doctors that are your only stakeholders. So doing your homework, doing stakeholder analysis is one of my passions. This is part of the things that I teach, and I can actually help teams do that. And then figuring out what the standard of care is and what the existing solutions are, either today or upcoming, and how yours, if you have an idea, is differentiated. And distilling what I call the value proposition of your solution is the one key to success. As long as the investor understands clearly what the value proposition is, I think you have a great possibility to get funded. And then we talked about that earlier too, get to the point and give them the technology, explain it clearly, never underestimate the investors across from you. Never try to dumb it down. People typically know sometimes more than you do, even if you are a PhD in this field. And just like tell them in the first slide everything that they need to know. Capture their attention, and then go back and tell them the story in 10 slides, one by one by one. And make sure the point of that meeting is to get the next meeting. You don't have to overdo it. You don't have to oversell it. You don't have to explain everything to them. You don't have to educate them in the basics of what you do. Just get to the next meeting. My programs typically would only work with people that are coachable, people that are willing to learn. There's no point in maybe even spending any time with people that will not accept what you're giving them, what you're offering them, right? That doesn't mean that everything I know is correct or what I have to offer is always good. But if you know that they will not change at all their behavior, there's no need to work with those people, right? That's my one thing. So if they're coachable, and you can see my favorite entrepreneurs that I like to fund or collaborate with are the ones that are eager to learn, they want to partner, they admit their mistakes, they will work hard, but they will also ask for your help to help them get to be successful, like do a plan, do a budget. I like people also that are ambitious, tenacious, and passionate about what they do, and they know why they're passionate, and that passion can then be translated to me. So that's what that's what I love working. These are the type of people that I love working with. The people other than the people that are not easily coachable, that I'm not as pleased to work with, are the people with control issues. And we talked about that. I see that a lot in academicians. And giving up power, there's some misconceptions out there. People are like, I will never give up more than 51% of my company. I need to keep that to be successful or to get what I need out of it. And what I always tell people, that's what I said earlier, 100% of zero will always be zero. There's a way that you can ask for people's help, and that's what I said before, that you can take their help and make the pie bigger, and your piece of the pie will be bigger than the original little pie that you had when you first started the company. So people's mindset, they need to be aware of that. And when they're aware of that, then I think they're going to be successful. Some education, even to the effect of you don't have to take everybody's money, because there are investors out there. AIMHI is doing a great job by involving people as their mentors, as their judges, that are reputable people, that have credibility, that can help them make the right choices. The two that I would like to always caution people about are the ones that don't have any knowledge about your industry or how to help you. And the reason why that's what I call bad money is that there will be unrealistic expectations from you. And they will always create friction. You will never be aligned. They will always want something different than what you can give them. And it's just a recipe for failure. And the second type of investor that I want to warn people about is the people that are exclusively interested in the money outcome, right? All investors, of course, want to make money, and that's why they're investors. And you need to always know about that. But there's some investors like AIMHI that want to be, first of all, partners with you. And if they are partners, then that's one of the ways beyond the money that can help you be successful. Because sometimes, you can't throw money to all problems. You need sometimes a different partner to help you out with your problem. Or investor partners. So it's not just an investor, it's a partner investor. So, or a founder investor, whatever you want to call that, but that's exactly what I think early stage startups should always go after that money. I wouldn't change a thing, because it was all the mistakes that I've made and all the things that went wrong that led me to the next stage of my career. So early on when our first company, when I left that first company, I was so emotionally tied to it. It was like what I call my baby. My company was my baby. And I think at the end when I left, I thought it would be the end, right? Like I felt so devastated that leaving that company. And what I would tell my earlier self is like, it's okay. This is just the first step of the rest of your career. And it only taught you things. So I don't have to be so emotionally attached to an idea or like a technology or a company. I need to know what I know as a person and then keep going on, keep going and keep climbing.